All right, man. Something's got to give. It's finally time for you Nvidia bros to finally admit that AMD is actually a lot better than you guys give it credit for. So, I called you here today because I've literally been playing VR on the PlayStation VR 2 with the adapter on my AMD GPU for the last couple of days, and this has been an incredible experience. But all you ever hear from the Nvidia bros is, oh, you got to have an Nvidia card so that you can do VR and all of this stuff. I'm done with the nonsense. Okay, I'm over it. I'm sick and tired of being gaslighted by the Nvidia bros. Every time I turn around, when they always, seem to just show up and, talk bad about AMD. Look, Nvidia makes a decent product, but it's nothing to really write home about, especially when you have AMD. AMD destroys, absolutely destroys the mid-range section for all of Nvidia. The only cards that are worth, the only cards that are like really more powerful is maybe the 4090. I've yet to try that card, so I'm not really going to put my stamp on it. Everybody said the 4080 Super was better than the 7900 XT, but then the 7900 XT was literally holding its own against the 4080 Super. So I'm pretty sure that the 7900 XTX is probably going to hold its own fairly decently up against the 4090. Maybe not as close as the 7900 XT is to the 4080 Super. But I bet it's a lot closer than a lot of people give it credit for. And ever since I switched last July over to AMD from Nvidia, I've had plenty of people come and tell me that AMD has bad drivers, AMD can't do VR, AMD doesn't freaking do ray tracing. I've literally proved every single one of those to be false. There's like 3 games that have ray tracing that AMD doesn't run very well. Like 3. That's it. So when you look at that doesn't mean AMD can't do ray tracing. It just means that AMD struggles in games that Nvidia pays to make it so they don't run good. I mean, think about it. What is it? We've been waiting now for how long for Cyberpunk 2077 to finally get AMD optimization, with FSR 3 and frame generation and all of that stuff. You know what I think sickens them? You know what I think the reason why they haven't done it yet is because we know when FSR 3 with its frame generation comes to Cyberpunk 2077, everybody's going to want to use AMD's frame generation. Why? Because it's better. It produces more frames and it is a lot more stable. So you can't tell me it's not. We just had a whole bunch of them PlayStation games launch and everybody's opting to use AMD's frame generation with DLSS or something else. Like, I'll give DLSS its props. It does do an incredible job at 4K. But when you don't need it at 1440p, I mean, what's the point? You know what I mean? If you've got a powerful enough and it seems like AMD is the only one that really puts out GPUs these days that actually run pretty decently at 1440p without all the trickery. So I don't know I don't know, man. Like, sometimes I just feel like it's just the fanboys showing up to like I don't know, man. It gets frustrating. It really does. I know, man. See, here's the thing. When I put out information or content about AMD, I'm bringing you guys the best AMD content that I've got at the moment from my own testing, and I'm blown away with it. And then you guys come to me and you tell me like, no, man, and see, that's the thing. You guys come to me and you tell me that, no, Nvidia is better. And it's like, dude, I've tried Nvidia. I've bought all the way up to a 4080 Super this generation. I've tried it. I've given it a fair shot. And it's not any better than what I get from AMD. And AMD just happens to have more things that I like. Like, I'm not even going to lie, man. I'm not even going to lie. The reason why I'm making this video right now is because I was absolutely 100% worried that my AMD 7900 XTX wasn't going to be able to do VR. I was worried about it. I truly was worried about it because I hear all of the people saying that AMD can't do VR, AMD can't do this. I was truly worried about it. But here I am, able to play all the games I want to play, VR, maxing out the settings, having a good go with it, having every game load up, I mean, the first try playing Flight Simulator in VR. I literally jumped in the F-22 Raptor and flew from the Grand Canyon all the way down to Salt Lake City, where I crashed my plane in VR. And it was incredible. I didn't get sick. I'm looking out the window. I'm doing like barrel rolls and all kinds of stuff. And it was just incredible because it was such a smooth experience and it just looks so phenomenal in VR. I mean, it doesn't look as good as it does in the game, but I mean, let's be real. What you get in VR for that out of PSVR 2, wow, that is pretty damn impressive. I was like, woo, I played some No Man's Sky and I'm like, are you kidding me? No Man's Sky, that game looks incredible too. It's how you get to the planets and then they just look all plastic and I didn't really care for that much. But that's the thing, man. Like people gaslight so much in the PC community. Honestly, man, if you are a prospective buyer that is looking at potentially buying AMD and you've been on Nvidia for a long time, or you just want something that costs less money because you want more power, you would be a fool. And I mean this the nicest way possible. You would be an absolute fool to pass up an AMD card over Nvidia. If you're going to play 4K, that is the only way that I could be like, okay, yeah, get an Nvidia card because you're going to need DLSS, and DLSS does a really good job at doing 4K. I'm not saying that FSR doesn't, but if you're going for 4K, that means you want a sharp, crisp, clean looking image, and yeah, Nvidia's DLSS is the best for that. I mean, if you can deal with a little bit of softness and a little bit of flicker and whatever else, FSR is not too bad. And a lot of games support XeSS, so you could potentially use that as well. So, I mean, you could potentially go either way. I don't think you could go wrong either way. But if like 4K is your utmost importance, yeah, do DLSS. But if anything under that, like ray tracing, I do not think that ray tracing is a big enough reason to pass up on that extra VRAM or to pass up on just that pure rasterized power, or to pass up on Adrenaline software, or to pass up on the VR experience. I just don't think that there's a compelling enough reason anymore to buy an Nvidia GPU just out of like, oh, that's the best. It's not the best anymore. It's good, but AMD is damn good too, and they got some pretty decent prices, man. I mean, who knows? Maybe in the future they'll go out of their way to try to get more money, but I understand the reason why AMD did their prices for the 7000 series the way they did this generation is because these cards are good. They're way good. And they knew they were going to get backlash from all these YouTubers that are like, it's got to be cheaper. That 7900 XT was a freaking monster. For $800 when it launched, I think that was a fair price. It's even a freaking steal right now for the price. 7900 XTX for $1,000. Dude, the 4080 was $1,200. Yeah, that's a good price. You got a good price. You got a $200 discount, and you got 6 more gigs of VRAM, or was it 8 more gigs? Yeah, you got 8 more gigs of VRAM for like a couple $100 less. So when you look at that, and you really look at that, and you look at the big picture, I don't think that AMD did a very bad job with their pricing. But I want to touch on these CPUs for at the closing of this, because the 9000, the 9700X, then the 9600X, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. It's almost like you got to use PBO just to give you like the gains that they were talking about. And I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing, because the non-PBO stock is at least matching and exceeding, a few percentage what the last ones were. So if you want, so here's my outlook on this. And I don't know why I see it this way, but I mean, we've literally just went through a whole generation of PC dudes crying their eyes out, like literally tears in their eyes. They water up over the power draw on the AMD cards. Like we literally have been seeing nonstop crying, but the power, like streams of tears just coming out of their eyes. And now all of a sudden AMD comes out and they're like, all right, we can match the CPU power or for like half the wattage, And now the same clowns are crying, yeah, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. But then it's like you get you max that you you overclock the CPU, and then all of a sudden, boom, them gains are right there. So it's like AMD sells you a dual purpose CPU, one that will match the power of last gen at a lower wattage, a lower power consumption, but also boost past it if you feed it more power. I don't know what to say. I mean, is that good? Absolutely. And I think these ones are coming in a little bit cheaper too. So in my mind, it's like, okay, that's kind of the way it was with the 7000 series GPUs. They obviously, I don't know. They match the power going with chiplet, and then, yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand the PC community sometimes. I think the PC community and the content creators are so worried about trying to make Nvidia and Intel look good that they find every single little thing there is to nitpick about AMD, and that's what they do. They spend more time nitpicking AMD than actually like calling out Nvidia, being like, hey man, when are you gonna give us a freaking like what we pay for? Because Nvidia straight cheaped out this generation. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't know. We'll find out with the 50 series. We'll find out with AMD's next GPUs, you know, what's going on. But yeah, guys, I'm a little bit tired of being gaslit with the PC community when it comes to this stuff, because I've had nothing but a solid, good experience with AMD. I don't have the driver issues. I could play VR just fine. It's got plenty of power. I can do ray tracing. Like everything that they said I couldn't do, I magically can do it on an AMD GPU. So, all right, my friends, thank you guys for watching this little rant video. But yeah, after playing VR all day today, gosh, man, I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say except for take a chill pill, Nvidia bros. AMD is coming up, dude. They're going to watch them hoodwink freaking Nvidia like they did with freaking Intel, bro. That'd be interesting. That'd be something I'd want to see. I'd even pay to see that. So, all right, my friends, if you like this content, do not forget to like and subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.